YouTube? I'm Roadhawk Wilson, welcoming you to the Reverie, and I wanted to discuss a common misconception or mistruth in depression. And that being that depression does not just go away. For a lot of people who have clinical depression, which is typically different than depression. Depression is something for some people that they feel it, they experience it, and they move on. But clinical depression is a very different creature. It's something that attacks a human being and often destroys their life. I have counseled a lot of people in times of depression. I have shown people how to work through it. But the problem is, depression is kind of like, imagine Pac-Man, the video game. You have these ghosts coming after you, and from time to time you can deal with it. You can go through your day-to-day life, but when they come after you, it is a force that is terrifying, that is horrifying, that can shut down a life and can ultimately eat at you and devour you. Depression is something that, yes, a lot of people would say people who have it come and go are really experiencing sadness, a deep sadness. Depression is something more. If you've experienced it, if you've lived it, you know that it is what some people call, and I've talked to people in the mental health care community, they call it a cancer. Because, and yes, I know that may be a controversial term, but when you consider that cancer is something that eats at the body, works away your health, and ultimately can kill you, depression is very similar in the sense that how it works is, and if you're watching this video, chances are you already knew this, but it actually eats at your self-esteem. It eats at who you are. Depression is something that can make you avoid your children. Postpartum depression, another thing that can separate mothers from their newborns and make them want to kill their child, which that's an intense situation. And if you haven't gotten to the point of this, these are all intense situations. When you have depression, it's not a sadness that comes and goes. It's not a overarching, ghost is a metaphor that I used, but it is something that controls your life if you let it. Now, letting it is a lot easier than not letting it, because ultimately people who tend to have some degree of control, again, have medications in their system, have some degree of counseling, they've been at this for years. And it's not something you can master. This is not a positivity trend that works. And I actually tend to think that a lot of the, if you think happy, you'll be happy, that's something that doesn't apply to someone who has clinical depression. Because they can be happy, they can want to do that, and then like that, kind of like a Thanos snap, everything in their life becomes meaningless, becomes void, becomes hopeless. And if you've ever experienced true hopelessness, it is a feeling that, and this comes from genuine experience, this is something that nothing is worth living for at that point. Nothing is worth doing. It's why when you're in bed and you're depressed, people telling you, and this is for people who say this, and I've been an experiencer of this, experiencer being an actual word, not really, just get out of bed, just do it, just keep going. It's not that easy, because literally your brain chemistry, your whole body, everything about you is focused on what you are feeling. And I guess if I can ultimately dismay at this point what this false accusation about depression is it's not something you just get over. For people who live with this, it is a part of their lives that eats at who they are, that manipulates their life, and is something that needs compassion. Not a life coach to say, hey, be happy. Not necessarily, unless that works for you, which I highly recommend doing. Not a positive trend of friends who don't understand. the most potent and the most effective solvent for depression, in my personal opinion, is patience and time. If you give a person the time and the patience for them to work through what they are going through, you will see a change. I'm not going to say that this is 100% for everyone, because people often give up, and suicide is a thing. It's a prevalent reality in our world across the globe, and it destroys lives at more than just one. But people who want to get better, people who work towards it, who put in the effort, they need patience, they need understanding, and they need compassion. So if I can leave you with one thing, the most powerful mistruth about depression is that it's something you can just get over, but it is something you can help encourage someone to get over. It is something that you can defeat. It is something that you can live with and seek treatment for. These are all things for mistruths for people who know someone with it or are living with it, that it's this easy to go away thing, or this thing that consumes every part of their life and always will. Those are mistruths. Those are not accurate. The reality is depression can be defeated. It can be controlled. It can be utilized. Many artists do it every day to inspire their art. I'm one of them. But it needs empathy, compassion, and time. No one gets over clinical depression in a matter of seconds. Unless you have mood swings, but that's a whole nother video. With that, I'm hoping you guys will leave a like, comment, watch these videos. I hope they inspire someone. I know this is a very unknown channel, but it's something worth doing. And as long as we're putting our message out there, we are putting our message out there. So we will see you in another video. Bye.